Good day, everyone. Firstly, I wish to thank the Department of Health for inviting me to share something that I'm passionate about. And I want to say hi to our healthcare providers, our true heroes of today's world, as well as our dynamic administrators and leadership team who are always there to support us in strengthening advancement and fostering enhanced collaboration in patient care. Prior to my talk, I would like to present some of my potential biases and declaration as a speaker. Currently, I'm affiliated with Our Lady of Fatima University, or ROWLFU, and Fatima University Medical Center, one of the autonomous private higher education institutions in the Philippines. And currently, I am serving as the Director for Research Development and Innovation Center, OLFU, across 6 campuses located in various cities. And some of the examples that I will be sharing with you today are products of my work, experience, and research in the field of healthcare and technology. Before we begin, let us break the ice first. Who says a virtual presentation can't be interactive? So let's have this simple activity I call thumbs up or thumbs down. And the mechanism is simple. You will click the thumbs up icon or put it on the chat box here if the statement is true to you, or thumbs down icon if the statement is not true to you. Can I have your full participation? Okay, so let's begin. First, I would like to know how many of you had a superb breakfast this morning. I bet of you are not breakfast persons, though it gives us energy at the day ahead. Okay? At this point, I want to know how many of you love technology as much as I do. Considering the age of our younger healthcare providers, I know most of you are technologically savvy and even better than me. Next, I wish to know how many of you had used an AI application before. How many have used AI in their work or in their continuing professional development at some point? Using AI is not always synonymous with dishonesty. Just let me be clear on that. Moving forward, how many of us will listen to me today? Or how many are interested in to this topic? Excellent. Finally, who believes that the persons in this Zoom event are the most awesome providers the Philippines could ever have? Great. Thank you for your responses. For this session, I will be sharing with you how can we leverage technology for safer patient care. I may not be physically with you today, but I'm always with you in spirit. Allow me to give you an overview of the topic as I will be introducing in my talk through this brain exercise activity. Let me introduce to you one of my favorite games during my 5-minute Pomodoro technique break. So let us have the 4 picks and one word game. The rule is simple. I will show you set of pictures, then you will tell me the word that will best describe each of the set of pictures. And there will be letters below each for your choices. So this would be very easy. And remember, we are looking for the one word that will best represent each of the set of pictures. You can type in your responses in our chat box or in the comment section. So for the first one, this is an easy round. Excellent. COVID-19. This is the best group ever. The second, excellent. This refers to health. That is a good warm up for everyone. How about this set of pictures? This is one of my favorite topics in research, and this is considered advanced technology. You are correct. This is robotics. For the next sets, this can be considered as the difficult round. Okay, this set of pictures refers to one of our responsibilities to improve the science of healthcare. And some of us are always challenged but excited in doing this. Correct. This is research. And for the final round, this is the shortest, consisting of only 2 letters because it's an abbreviation. Here we go. We see computer, we can see virtual brain, there's a picture about automation. What is this? Impressive. This is AI, or artificial intelligence. These are some of the concepts that we will be examining in the next few minutes. And for clarity and brevity of my presentation, I will be focusing on 4 important themes. First, are the changes. At the end of the presentation, should be able to answer what makes healthcare service different after the pandemic. For the challenges, what makes innovation and technology use challenging? And what are its promises? For the chances, how can we make things better? And what are the useful tools and framework that we can apply on our affiliations? And for the choices, how can we shape the future of healthcare and patient safety? On the whole, the Philippine healthcare system is steadily improving as we can see it. The public healthcare system offers basic healthcare services to the general public, and these services are provided at various facilities, including community health centers, district hospitals, and regional hospitals where most of us are affiliated. And anchored in the Universal Healthcare Law and the call of the World Health Assembly on global action on patient safety, the Department of Health is reaffirming its commitment to promote and integrate patient safety in health service delivery to improve health systems and health outcomes. Specifically, the Patient Safety Program of the DOH reinforces the institutionalization of patient safety in health facilities and enhances the national patient safety policy to improve healthcare delivery in the country. And as you can see, patient safety is at the forefront of our healthcare services. As a nurse and researcher, I love the three T's: technology, tales, or stories, and travel. Especially the latter part because I believe that travel makes us better persons. Traveling is synonymous to learning because when we travel, we explore and discover best practices. When I travel, I visit universities and hospitals, and I usually compare practices and processes. I know hospitals since the pandemic have different challenges, but despite these challenges, several hospitals emerge as best in patient safety. One of which is Loma Linda University Medical Center in the US and was recognized as one of USA's top medical institutions for patient safety. So LLUMC is an academic hospital located in California's Inland Empire region. Whenever we think of patient safety, we are always crossed with literatures related to aviation. And you are correct because when we say patient safety, the philosophy and framework of patient safety was actually rooted in what we call aviation field. So in Loma Linda University Medical Center, one of the models that they're following are the model of the aviation field. And for the past several years, they are receiving high marks for patient safety. And I was privileged to visit them in 2018 prior to the pandemic. So, just a backgrounder, LLUMC is an Adventist institution, and I have research friends and colleagues in its College of Nursing. The institution made international news on October 26, 1984, when Dr. Leonard Bailey transplanted a baboon heart into baby Faye, an infant born with a severe heart defect. Baby Faye died a few weeks later. However, this effort led to the successful infant health heart transplant program with transplantation of human to human infant transplants. And also, they're also known for cancer treatment. For instance, the James M. Slater Proton Treatment and Research Center located in the institution offers proton therapy treatments for prostate, lung, brain, and other types of cancers. And this is considered the nation's first hospital-based proton treatment center. Since its opening in the 1900s, over 14,500 patients have been treated in this facility. Today, LLUMC emerged as a benchmark to most hospitals in the US, primarily because of its patient safety rankings. And for me, LLUMC is more than deserving because as a former visitor, the culture of quality and safety is in the air when you visited their facilities. And these are the things that I have discovered. When you enter its main lobby, you will be impressed with the way they value their clients. They installed in the hospital hallways inspiring stories about their patients and treatment modalities. Every staff will give you a big smile and greet you whenever you cross their paths. In their hallways are research posters. Think about that, right? Of their breakthrough research studies that became the benchmark of best practices across the USA. For me, my stay at LLUMC, I discovered several ways on how we can further quality and safety. But what is unique about LLUMC is their use of the tool known as the journey map. A user journey is a journey map focused specifically on representing the experiences of the user. So, because when we will be considering the entire user journey across a healthcare service, not just direct interactions, healthcare practitioners can better understand factors that may affect client satisfaction and safety. And in each of their departments, they have posters of their clients' journey maps. And this one is for the operating room. And as shown in this slide, they divide the patient experience into several phases and who among the healthcare team are interacting with the patient at some point. So in this picture from a virtual poster, we can see smiley faces to depict the polarity of client satisfaction as happy or sad. And by identifying faces where they elicit better client satisfaction, they have identified areas where they can maximize best practices and investigated on the areas with sad faces to discover several weak points in the services. Galing. The recognition of being one of the safest healthcare institutions was published by an independent analytics company, okay, Leapfrog, through its hospital safety grade. But what exactly is patient safety? So according to the WHO definition, patient safety is a healthcare discipline that emerged with the evolving complexity in healthcare systems and the resulting rise of patient harm in healthcare facilities. And it aims to prevent and reduce the risk, errors, and harm that occur to patients. But how can we improve patient safety? This is my biggest discovery at Loma Linda University Medical Center. They consider information as the best medicine. With hundreds, thousands of patients that they cater every year, they manage data very well. And as Dr. DeBakey would always say, and I quote, good information is the best medicine. They believe that safety starts with good data and measurement. But how can we manage healthcare services with ease? The answer lies with good technology infrastructure and standards. They are one of the best in terms of technology integration in their hospitals. And from the discovery of proton treatment, their culture of safety and technology are always intertwined. Proof of concept is the average lifespan of Loma Linda residents. The place is known for one of the blue zones of healthcare, or those with residents with who lives as centenarians. Beyond good diet and environment, they take pride in their health technologies. Let us now pivot our conversations and take a look at the healthcare practice post-pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly impacted various aspects of our healthcare systems, including developing countries such as the Philippines. And if you will be asking me, the most impactful scenario that happened during the pandemic, my answer would be digitization. I know everyone will agree that we are experiencing rapid digitization in the modern world. Digitization is the conversion of information from physical to digital formats and continuously revolutionizing how we interact, work, and live. And nowadays, almost everything has its digital form. In fact, research will tell us the same thing about digitization. For instance, from a report produced by the Economic Forum, the global world has experienced a surge of technology adoption from pre-COVID to COVID-19 era, and this transformation is mostly abrupt in the Asia-Pacific region where we are located. Examples of digitization is present in our everyday lives. Job hunting and hiring were transformed from yellow pages during my younger years and printed newspapers to an application known as LinkedIn. Snail mail has been replaced with the email or electronic mail, and digital storage moves from diskettes to cloud folders. Landline phone calls, another example, were replaced by applications such as Viber, WhatsApp, and Messenger. Facebook and Instagram became our modern versions of the photo album. And while scheduled TV shows and movies were replaced by video streaming platforms such as YouTube and Netflix, and even share our playlists in Spotify. Information access becomes more and more easy and, of course, available in digital formats. Truly, it proves that crisis is the mother of innovation. Because of the pandemic, we were forced to use digital applications whether we like it or not because there's no other options. Surprisingly, these applications became a mainstream even after the pandemic when we realized that the use of these technology driven approaches were more convenient, efficient, and time or energy saving. For instance, healthcare education nowadays is a combination of both synchronous and asynchronous format, and we teach conceptual knowledge online and we do skills training on site. Similar to this picture, during the transitions from the pandemic, I used to teach using the smart classroom in our university because technology makes anything possible. Also, I'm fortunate to become part of the Apple Distinguished Educators Group or ADE, a global community of educational leaders recognized for doing amazing things with technology in the classroom. And since the start of my teaching career after my clinical, of course, affiliations, I advocated for technology use in developing the next generation of our healthcare providers. And as a proud member of its advisory board in health and medicine, previously, I have collaborated with a lot of educators worldwide to further research and health technologies, and that includes wearable technologies like the Apple Watch and tracking vital health statistics and activities of daily living from young to senior patients. Some traditional ways are better than using modern technology. I agree, but not all. Useful technology makes our lives and tasks easier and sometimes better. And at this point, there's no turning back. All we need to do is to move forward and ride the waves of change, as we call it. And as we move forward in a more digital practice, there are realizations and real world scenarios that led us to this previously unimaginable future. First, healthcare providers must need to recognize that the world is becoming almost digital. Paper-based forms in other fields are now being converted into what we call the digital records. Just like movie tickets are now being replaced by QR codes that you just scan in front of the cinema. Even though we rely mostly on paper records in our hospitals, digitizing some procedures in the hospitals can help us manage information more efficiently, considering that nowadays we are handling, of course, a big number of patients in our institutions. Also, the internet or the web makes it easier for us to communicate locally and even globally through various networks. So it is easier for information to travel from one place to another. And as we can see here, the internet has been dramatically improved from the previous years. And this slide gives me goosebumps and made me reminisce the first time when I first connected the internet through dial up on my third grade in school. And from simple applications, the internet has been improved to host almost everything from booking our next vacations, working remotely, and communicating with colleagues and peers. It opens doorways to wealth of information, knowledge, and educational resources, increasing opportunities for learning and continuous learning. Talking about history, when the Department of Health website was launched in 1997, it provided a new avenue to share and disseminate health data and information to the masses. And the internet is a highway of all the possibilities. Filipinos in focus are one of the most notable digital consumers and netizens, as we call it online. Because recent surveys will show us how internet browsing was embedded in our everyday lives, that it occupies almost 11 hours of our day, at an average longer than our hours of sleep. Therefore, the internet can be a catalyst for health programs. Additionally, the social media became a space where we also live, and a lot of you might be physically present in our event but also virtually present in social media, sharing posts and updates online. It's easy to connect through social media, right? And it can change human behavior. And a number of Philippine hospitals are maintaining accounts in their social media for health promotion and marketing. And the good news is it can give you some sort of data, analytics, and reports where you can analyze some of your postings. However, it also become a toxic place on the other side. Filipinos have the tendency to become marites, marupok, and maramdamin in the online space. Reputations are easily destroyed online, and cancel culture is becoming a habit. If there are positive thoughts online, there's also a share of negative thoughts. Altogether, our behavior online provides data about ourselves and reveals our activities as a form of a virtual culture, as we call it. Our personal information can be easily accessed online and becomes the basis for technology to know and predict us that later can be used for predicting our next move or preferences through artificial intelligence. Uh, Do you wonder why, when you browse YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok, the advertisements being presented to you are showing items and information that you previously interacted with? Yes, this is a classic case of artificial intelligence. Second, life reality is that the internet connects everything. And in the field of health, this might be useful because it made digital health possible and feasible. If we are connected through the internet, it is possible to compare our data with similar patients or conditions from other places. And because of internet connectivity, it also enables us to communicate with healthcare providers remotely through what we call telehealth that become, of course, more prominent during the COVID-19 pandemic. And by using internet, we can also send, of course, MRI results to experts located in other countries. And because of this, our wearable technologies such as digital health watches can communicate to the provider server and give us prompts when we experience health emergencies. The possibilities are really endless in what we call digital health. And if we're going to take a look at the statistics, this industry is predicted to grow in the next 10 years, amounting to 1,190 billion US dollars of market by 2032. Imagine that. And using both digitization and network via the internet, it is now possible to visualize healthcare data coming from various databases. Imagine your car dashboard, for example. It shows valuable data related to your vehicle status. So this concept is similar to what we call cardiac monitoring seen in the ICU that shows patient vitals live and current. But how can this be leveraged to a bigger level or what we call the macro level? A good example is the Johns Hopkins COVID-19 tracker during the pandemic. From various sources and databases, it enabled us to view the status of countries, and the data was used to inform standards, healthcare policies, and do predictions. It is actually a live metric of healthcare performances from various territories. And this become a metric for us also in the Philippines to know if we are improving in terms of our healthcare services. So, internet and digitization can be maximized by hospitals in adopting the so-called business intelligence or BI. It is the application of tools to process institutional-wide data across multiple sources and presenting the findings in live visual formats. It helps organizations to analyze historic and current data and predict future trends from data-driven decisions. BI or business intelligence is known in layman's as the dashboarding technique or the visual dashboard. And as a health informationist, I have piloted this approach in our own institution. So we first identify the metrics that are used in our work that measures our progress and in tracking our healthcare service performances. With the assistance of the IT personnel, we have managed to collate this data and present in a more visual form, just like what you are seeing at this point. The data can be displayed in various devices like mobile devices on the go. And through this technique, we can identify the progress of our goals and know the point in time when our client are most satisfied with our services. We can also use this dashboard to identify the needed supplies and using prediction that can identify the amount of supplies that we will be needing in the next 6 months. So talk about efficiency. We also recognize the top performing departments and those departments that need further monitoring, and it's all in one page. Again, business intelligence or what we call the dashboarding technique. However, business intelligence is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so much more in technology, especially now that we are officially entering the fourth industrial age, the fourth industrial revolution or fire, or the era of advanced technology. But what exactly is the fourth industrial revolution? So let us trace its roots. Industrial revolution are actually historical time points that introduces a major breakthrough and change in our industry in a dramatic way. Just like, for example, during the first industrial revolution, which took on the latter part of the 18th century. So this is the time wherein steam engine was invented, and it actually moved places, people from one place to another and goods from one place to another. And during the second industrial revolution, we saw new technological advancements in, especially in the electrical field, no? So, and the second industrial revolutions focused on developing publicly funded centralized facilities for scientific research. During the third industrial revolution, known as the era of computers, we have witnessed the emergence of information technology, biotechnology, nuclear energy to automate production. And now we are observing the fourth industrial revolution, which is described as the advent of cyber physical system. The fourth industrial revolution also encompasses a world of mixed reality, robotics, self-driving cars, artificial intelligence, and of course, the use of satellites is also in the fourth industrial revolution. And in the field of healthcare, a recently published literature at Nature Medicine, there's a project which is a joint partnership between Google and Moorfields Hospital, which showcases the use of artificial intelligence that can quickly interpret eye scans from routine clinical practice with unprecedented accuracy. It can correctly recommend how patients should be referred to for treatment for over 50 sight-threatening eye diseases as accurately as the world-leading expert doctors. And another would be robotics, because as of now, robots can be found everywhere in all industries, including healthcare. Little by little, we can see robots in our environment, in manufacturing, and in restaurants like what you are seeing right now. So the video on the left was actually captured in New York. The middle one is from an airport in Korea. And I'm quite surprised when I visit one of the fast food chains in BGC. There's actually a Jolly Bot that delivers the orders of clients. No? So, very fascinating. And for me, for the past several years, I have committed to advancing the field of robotics through research and development. And way back in 2018, we developed, of course, several research projects with some of our colleagues in Tokushima University in Japan, because we believe that the use of robotics will be the next future of healthcare, which is have high potentials when it comes to taking care of our older adults. So may I ask, how many of you know Sophia? Sophia is the first healthcare robot. And right now, there's actually lots of robotics that are, or robots that are being used in the healthcare field. And of course, Grace is also a new and emerging robots that are being used, especially in hospitals in developed countries, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, when patient interaction was kind of limited in some of the hospitals. So, way back in 2022, I have published a paper about an integrative review of robots that are being used for older adults in gerotechnology. And from this publication, I have advanced, of course, the different types of robots that are currently being used in healthcare for older adults, and developed the figure known as the design spectrum of healthcare robots for older people. And as you can see from this figure, majority of the robots that we are using are human-like, or I call it the anthropomorphic. Those that doesn't look like human beings, or the functional robots, are also emerging, and less on the robots that looks like animals, or what I call the zoomorphic robots. So if you're going to take a look at the, of course, the different areas of robotics, okay, so gradually it actually enters or entering the field of what we call healthcare. So currently, we are working on several studies in the Philippines with the use of robotics on how can we synchronize, and how can this be a complement for the patient, for patient care, especially for the routinary procedures that our healthcare providers are doing. In the fourth industrial revolution, there's also the emergence of what we call reality virtuality concept. For instance, several months ago, we have witnessed the launching of the Vision Pro, Apple Incorporated spatial computing devices. So what is reality virtuality? So this is actually a concept in healthcare where we can mix both actual and the real world. So if we're going to take a look at the different models, there are three most common applications of reality virtuality continuum in the field of healthcare. First one is the VR, or the use of the virtual reality glasses. Second is the augmented reality, that using our mobile phones, using the camera and the screen of our phones, we can project several digital objects. And last one is the mixed reality, or the combination of both virtual and actual worlds through the use of a see-through head-mounted device. So for the first example, virtual reality, we can see here a good, of course, exemplar. So we can see here a child navigating a virtual world while wearing those enclosed virtual glasses. So it can actually transform you into a certain place, okay, or scenario in the field of healthcare. So there are some universities around the world that are using VR to train their nurses in different situations and immerse them into several cases, just like the Johns Hopkins University School of Nursing. Augmented reality is being very popular nowadays, that through the use of your mobile devices such as iPad, you can actually project the camera of your phone or your iPad to a table, and later on you will see anatomical models appear before your eyes. And even using your simple smartphone, if you're connected to the internet, you can just search circulatory system at Google, and Google will give you an option to see that in a 3D form using augmented reality, just like the circulatory system. And this application, I use this especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, when our students cannot attend to their anatomical laboratory classes. Okay? This is not only used in healthcare but in other disciplines as well. For instance, in chemistry, you can mix several compounds and project species, okay? Species, examples of species. And these are very useful when it comes to training the next generation of our healthcare providers. So scientists and scholars are envisioning a future wherein mixed reality can be used to interact with other members of the healthcare team in successfully teaching our clients, okay, especially for disseminating health information. And not only in the clinical practice, but in educational spaces are, as well. We are looking forward into an era where professors can teach both in person and virtual students represented by avatars. And instead of showcasing PowerPoint presentation, they can actually produce or project digital 3D models of, example, the cell. So if we're going to combine both actual and virtual world, this will form what we call the metaverse, or a digital universe that offers individuals the ability to participate in an extensive virtual world. And this is being converted now into the concept of what we call metaversity, or digital university, or twin university at some point, that offers students with the ability to learn in an extensive virtual world. So imagine attending your continuing professional development not in physical form but of course in virtual form. So you will just log into this application and you can navigate the virtual version of the university or hospital where you can attend continuing professional development. So there are some institutions around the world who are maximizing the use of it. Example are Northern Illinois University, Fullerton College, University of Kansas, and New Mexico State University, where they provide their students and professionals an option to attend either physical or virtual sessions. And the good thing about it is it mimics the actual physical features of a certain facility where they used to attend their continuing professional development. Okay? So there are different ways on how professionals can learn in the virtual world, and this is being presented by several modes and approaches that are integrated on the use of the mixed reality, virtual reality, augmented reality, and in combination, the metaverse. So a lot of you would ask, Are these applicable to the Philippines? Yes, definitely. Just like, for instance, we are developing now, of course, several initial projects for the development of the first metaversity, of course, in Asia. 2 years ago, we established the Marvel Laboratory, or the Multiple Applications for Reality Virtuality Experience Laboratory, with support from the Department of Science and Technology. So it was launched way back in February 21, okay, 2 years ago. And there's actually a show that was produced by the Department of Science and Technology at CNN Philippines. And at this juncture, I would like to walk you through this laboratory. This laboratory features a motion capture area where it records the actual movements of an actual person, and we convert those movements into an avatar, okay, that can serve as a standardized patient, okay, for our undergrad nursing and medical students. Okay, so how can the students experience this? So using that mixed reality device HoloLens, where we uploaded some of these applications, so students and even professionals can earn their continuing professional development through interacting with several scenarios and enhance the skills that they actually have, just like right now that we are developing the BLS applications that can be used to project the actual scenario and present several cases and issues that students and even professionals can actually solve. So we are making it more grounded in the Philippine culture by developing patients that looks like Filipinos, because the problem with some of the softwares that are available are not fitted to what we call developing world, just like the Philippines. So using this Marvel Laboratory, we are piloting a lot of software applications that can be used in the metaverse. And there's a video produced by the Department of Science and Technology through the show called Shensi Cat, supported by CNN Philippines. And from this concept, we feature several scenarios where students can experience the metaverse or the virtual world first, prior to exposure to virtual simulation, and later on actual clinical practice. Okay, so this is the concept of the applications that are being developed now for the Marvel Laboratory. And also, just recently, we also launched community health programs through the softwares that are produced at the Marvel Laboratory. Okay, what we did is we developed several applications that can be used for exercise and launched the program known as the Hataw at Sigla para kay Lolo at Lola. Okay, so we pattern the activities and the movements of exercise based on the local standards produced by the Department of Health, and with the help, grant, and assistance coming from both international and local organizations, we have managed to pull out the software and pilot tested the initial applications, just like what you are seeing on your screen right now. So using an actual health coach, we developed the virtual coach, and this was projected through the eyes of the elderly using that mixed reality devices. And we conduct a lot of studies for to test the usability and applicability of this one. And just recently, we have published another article. So we already published 6 articles related to the efficiency and efficacy of this technology and its applicability to developed nations, including a protocol so that researchers can replicate our initiative in the Philippines to other contexts and region as well. So one of the more current advanced technology right now in healthcare is what we call the artificial intelligence. I know you have heard of ChatGPT. And if for those of you who are still not familiar with ChatGPT, this is actually an independent virtual assistant, or technically they call it the chatbot, developed by OpenAI. and it was first launched way back in November 2022. So there are lots of AI applications, not only ChatGPT nowadays. And one of the most common would be the free application from Google, which is called the Gemini. Okay, and other AI integrated third party software applications that we can use on our processes. So just to give, of course, a backgrounder, AI or artificial intelligence operates by combining large volumes of data with fast iterative processing and intelligent algorithms. So to put it simply, all the information that can be found from the internet and even databases that were developed that we call large language models can be processed and used in a program called AI. So simply, AI is the ability for a computer to think and learn like human beings. AI is part of a bigger field known as the computer science, and machine learning is actually a subset of what we call AI. AI applications can learn from the data that we input to them and all the prompts that we are inputting to this AI application. So, what are some of the examples of AI in the real world? I think one of the most prominent are the applications that fall under the branch of generative AI, or the one that creates text, images, music, or other form of content based on the commands given by human users. Imagine generative AI as your digital artist assistant. For example, two most common applications that we are using to create images are the DALL-E and GenCraft. Typing commands from the system can generate an email. For example, when you input create a picture of the future of Philippine healthcare, it can generate a picture for you. And if you're going to analyze this picture, these are not 100% accurate, okay? Because just like the picture on the right, you can see their computers installed in Cubos. And technically, we know that that is not logical. Why? Because it's very hard to maintain computers in Cubos because of changes in humidity that may corrode some of the parts of the computer. And also, I know a lot of you have seen the yearbook application in social media, right? So this is an example of generative AI. So for instance, when you upload your picture at the application, okay, it can generate different versions of yourselves. I once fooled my mom for this picture on the left because they thought it was real, no? So personal digital assistants, just like what we previously used, such as Siri, Cortana, Alexa, are examples of applications on our everyday lives. And just like here, in my condo, I'm using AI to turn on and turn off my lights, to generate the temperature, and even ask questions about the weather and some of the latest news for the day. So AI is common initially at businesses. For instance, our online payment options such as GCash and others have backbones in AI application. Did you know that your GCash payments are actually processed by a third-party application? So under the Ant Financial from the Alibaba Group, owned by, of course, the Jack Ma company. And for education, there are also universities where students can interact with AI agents in addition to real teachers and service providers. So one fascinating application is in the field of health research. So just recently, I have experienced encountering an AI application called Penelope AI because when I submitted my manuscript online for publication and it was accepted, the system automatically checks the content and format my manuscript prior to submission. So I receive an email, and when I click on that and input, of course, my password, it automatically checks the formatting of my article. And when you click on that red button, this AI application can generate or format the article for you. So which means you have more time to focus on the content of the manuscript rather than of course, spending your time formatting the manuscript. Also, in the field of research, uploading a PDF or a book chapter in a Pop AI online application can summarize the content of your lengthy manuscript or book, and you can ask question for this application related to that article, especially for evidence-based practice articles. You can ask questions, what would be the most efficient way to handle infections in the clinical area? And AI is not only software, there are also devices that were produced that can serve as your digital assistant. And just recently, I bought one unit of the orange one because whenever there's new technologies available, I always see to it that I'm testing it on how we can use it in the healthcare field. So AI device shopping boodle is real. So AI is also revolutionizing the field of healthcare. And allow me to give examples. Okay. For instance, in nursing, AI applications are can be used in every step of the nursing process, in documentation, in evaluation, in optimization, just like Otter AI. So it can convert your verbal documentation into what you call text, and it can perceive and correctly convert even the Filipino English that we're used to speak, no? Another would be Buoy. So when you input patient data here, similar to an application used as the Sensely, it can generate some of the interventions that you can use, and it can also connect you to your patient if they have information seeking, of course, needs in the hospital. Another very innovative AI application, a third-party application that you can integrate on your system is Scikit-Learn. So Scikit-Learn is a database of several diagnoses from different parts of the globe, or you can choose the regions where you would like to compare your findings. So using this, hooking this to your databases, and when you upload a radiology image of the client, right? So it can detect the cell or specific tissue if that is cancerous or not by comparing the image to thousands and even millions of positive cases from around the globe. However, if you will be asking me, what would be the potential of AI in the field of healthcare? So it will all boil down to what we call precision medicine. In the Philippines, if our client was diagnosed with this particular disease, most of us have a set of a set of interventions that we give to them. However, using precision medicine, if we input specific data from our client, it will make the intervention or give us a set of interventions that are more specific or tailored to the needs of our client. So it's more of personalizing the care that giving to our clients. This is being used now in some clinics in the US, just like in gynecology, where one size doesn't fit all cases. So you can create a plan of care specific to your individualized clients. And in the operating room, scheduling are being used. Preventus app is being used in the operating room, of course, to analyze some of your procedures in the OR and recommend to you different iterations of the scheduling also for the staff. And using also Scikit-Learn in the operating room, you can easily detect if a certain cell or tissue is cancerous, okay, by integrating Scikit-Learn to some of the programs that you are using in the hospital, specifically in the operating room. Okay, so as you can see here, there are lots of possibilities of AI application in healthcare. The most important is that we are ready to embrace research because in the field of research, we can tailor fit our needs, especially those AI applications, into our current context. So I would like to pivot my presentations to some of the challenges that are accompanied to the integration of technology for us to promote a better healthcare practice and safer patient care. So currently, we are pressed on using technology because of global health. However, in global health, we are also promoting the use of affordable and equitable technologies that are also applicable even to those non-developed world such as the Philippines or developing countries such as the Philippines. Because the notion is that if the system is more expensive, if the system is more comprehensive, it's more effective. No. Okay? Sometimes, even the simplest form of technology would be fitted in a certain scenario. For instance, in the Philippines, it has been proven that the use of SMS, yung text, no, yung short messaging service is more effective as compared with the use of smart devices. Okay? So especially on telehealth. Also, right now we are experiencing a lot of changes in our practice. There's a set of diagnoses that are being developed now to diagnose those diseases that are related to the use of technology. And for us healthcare providers, we're also being thrown into what we call digital overload because of a lot of technologies that we're using in the clinical area. But my advice would be to consider that we cannot learn all the technologies available. The most important is we see the application that will best fit our needs and to focus that application rather than using a lot of technologies that it actually occupies the time that's supposed to be given to our client. As healthcare providers, we need to embrace digital resilience. That is not avoiding technology, but using technology for good. And we use the appropriate technology applicable to our scenario, especially for resource restricted situations. We also need to embrace interprofessional collaboration, not only within our field, but with other members of the healthcare team, and also multidisciplinary collaboration, because the use of technology might also include not only the knowledge of healthcare providers, but the knowledge of information technology persons. In integrating technology in healthcare, it also produces a lot of inaccuracies. Okay, so unreliable data sources, or in the common lingo, hashtag fake news. Just like, for instance, if I'm going to ask you which is the real video of former US President Barack Obama, so is that the right one, or the left one? Okay, it's very hard to distinguish, right? Because one of which is AI generated. So what do you think is the generated video? Okay, some of you guess it correct. The first one is a generated lip sync of former President Obama. And as we can see, some AI applications are not that accurate. It can also give us false results, which is very detrimental, especially in the healthcare field. That's the reason why in the healthcare field, we used to develop a separate database or large language models for that, because we are dealing with patient life. And in the use of technology, we should also prioritize our patients as the center and core of our activities. It's very, sad to identify some of the news that are currently being projected at social media right now. So, for example, AI passing board exams. Okay, so if you're going to put side by side doctor and ChatGPT. So according to some studies, robots can give more empathic responses, and they are more preferred when it comes to by the patient. We should always remember that there's no technology that can replace the human side of caring. I believe as a professional, as a researcher, and as an educator, that uh, no technology can replace the good healthcare provider, right? But good technology can replace the bad healthcare provider. So what does it mean? So in addition to being competent, in terms of healthcare delivery, we should also be computer literate, okay? Because we cannot give what we don't have. So we cannot be replaced by AI, but we can replace by a person who uses AI. And just recently, the World Health Organization published several guidelines of AI for use in the healthcare field. But for my own opinion, for me, it is very appropriate to use what we call the Goldilocks principle. Do you know the Goldilocks principle story? The Goldilocks story, right? So Goldilocks and the three bears. So she visited the house of the three bears, and I think this story teaches kids on the different sizes. Okay, but when Goldilocks entered the kitchen, so she saw three types of soup. One soup is very cold, one soup is very hot, but she preferred the soup that is not too hot or not too cold. So we can put that principle into the healthcare context. In applying technology, we need to balance, okay? Technology and human intervention. Or in the use of AI, we need to balance, of course, technology and human judgment. Okay? We need to consider information sharing and data privacy. We need to avoid uploading data at AI sites, okay, especially those data that are confidential to our client because it becomes part of the database of AI. We always need to integrate human decisions or what we call the human in the loop. We don't rely in technology or in AI because it will result to a decline of our skills. And the news is true. AI are somewhat biased because most of the digitized information are coming from most developed countries. Okay? So in our institution, we have recently adopted what we call the burger model. And creatively, I call it the Jolly McFatima. Okay, so because in our institutions, whenever you're going to use AI, you always need to sandwich them with human intervention. So meaning you start with human intervention first. If you're going to use AI, it should be at the middle. And at the end of the day, it generates certain content. You need to check it. You need to verify. You need to modify if you see fit. So it starts with human intervention and it ends with human intervention. So we call it the burger model. Just like, for example, if you're going to produce an essay, so you need to identify your objective and the most appropriate way to use AI. And at the end of the day, you need to check your output and you ask yourself, am I willing to be accountable for my AI generated healthcare procedure? Okay. So I would like to end my presentation by sharing to you a metaphor, okay, on how we can maximize technology-driven healthcare for patient safety. Okay, so this is my personal story. Just recently, I have returned to the Philippines after completing my PhD degree at Johns Hopkins University School of Nursing, which is located in Baltimore. And Baltimore is considered as the third danger city in the US. So during spring break, I usually visit nearby state or nearby cities. Okay, so and two of the most common sites that I always visit is New York, which is 3 hours away using train, and Washington, D.C., which is nearer, 30 minutes using, of course, the Amtrak train. And most of the time, I visit Washington, D.C. Why? Because I really love museums, especially during the night. Okay? So, Washington, D.C. is where the White House is located. And before I left for the Philippines to return to the Philippines, I experienced a different kind of museum. Okay, and this is the museum that I visited. Okay, so this is the Van Gogh immersive virtual experience. So instead of having paintings, you can see projectors in the wall, and it's projecting the different paintings of Van Gogh. So one of my favorite paintings of Van Gogh is Starry Starry Night. Okay. So when I entered the big room, I really waited for that picture to be projected at the wall. And while of course the video is playing, okay, there's music, you can actually relax, you can lie down, you can sit, okay, there are bean bags on the floor. So there are also some quotations coming from Van Gogh. Okay, and I saw this quotation that really caught my eye. So according to Van Gogh, at present, I absolutely want to paint a starry sky. It often seems to me that the night is still more richly colored than the day, having use of the most intense violence, blues, and greens. So as you can see here, Van Gogh prefer the night as compared to the day, okay, which is very unusual. And it will tell us, of course, the value of what we call perspective, right? So because we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. Okay? So The manner on how we need to use technology in healthcare will really depend, okay, on how we use it, may it be constructively or destructively. And as the Spider-Man movie would always say, with great power comes great responsibility. So with the advancement of technology that we're experiencing right now, it has positive features and also negative features. So let's see to it that we're maximizing the positive features and mitigating its negative features. However, if you're going to ask me, is the advent of technology the issue of the decade? I would say no. It's more on the trust. Okay? The question is, will our patient trust us if we're going to use or integrate technology on our work? Will the patient trust the technology, or will the patient trust the hospitals that are using technology? So trust, not technology, is the real issue of the decade. And I would like to end my presentation with a very powerful note that in technology, we should not forget our humanity. From the research that I've been doing for the past several years about technology, it will always echo a conclusion that there's no technology can replace the human side of caring, especially tender loving care that Filipino healthcare providers are known for. And if I may say the word malasakit. So for me, the greatest opportunity uh, that is being given by technology is not reducing errors or workloads or even curing cancer. It is the opportunity to restore the precious and time honored connection and trust, that human touch between patients and, of course, provider. And in fueling our potentials, our healthcare providers of the Philippines, we need to maximize the secret formula in fueling our potentials in this technology driven world. And I call it the kaput na core and the manus. To be the best healthcare provider, we need to have the mind, we need to be knowledgeable in using technology. Okay, we need to have the manus or the hand, and we need to convert those what we learn into skill. And most importantly, we should have the heart or the core that balance our mind, our skills, and our ability to use technology. So with that, thank you very much for your attention.